All right, welcome everybody around the world. Welcome to all my subscribers. So, very quick little video here. I don't have much time, just a few minutes. I have a few verses to read, which I think are stellar proof that shows that I am correct, that God expects us to count the number of years that He told us would transpire until the end days. As I've shown in my other videos on this channel and on my other channel, Enoch the Witness, God told Daniel a great prophecy that details exactly the length of time that would transpire until the arrival of the end day itself, the great judgment day, the arrival of Messiah and everything. And, go watch those other videos where I talk about that length of time and everything. But God has told us, and like I show in those videos, it's 2023. Okay, we were told that there's 1290 years from when the temple sacrifice was stopped and removed. This was done by Babylon in 602 BC. God told Daniel 1290 years later there would be this abomination, and that is the Dome of the Rock in 688 AD on the Temple Mount, the holy place, exactly where Jesus said it would stand. And then we're told, God told Daniel that 1335 years would transpire from that point until the end. Okay, but more importantly, check out these verses here. So that's defining the time point, 2023, as I've talked about for like 4 or 5 years on my YouTube channels. But check this out. This is how I know I'm correct. Okay, God has told us the numbers, He's instructed us to count until the end. He's told us to do this. Listen to these verses. Okay, in Daniel 12, we hear the following from verse 10. It says, "None of the wicked understand, and those acting wisely do understand. From the time of the turning aside of the perpetual sacrifice to the giving out of the desolating abomination are days 1,290. O the blessedness of him who is waiting earnestly and does come to the days 1,335. And thou go on to the end, then thou dost rest, and dost stand in thy lot at the end of the days." So God gave us instruction here. He didn't just tell us the numbers. As I've said before, many times for years, God instructed us to count the number of days. Okay? He told us fixed points in history when these events should be measured from. Okay? He gave us the numbers for the period of time, and He gave us instruction to count it. He said, "Oh, the blessedness of him who is waiting earnestly and does come to the days." 1335. Well, that 1335 is without question this current year, 2023, as I've warned everybody for the last 4 or 5 years on YouTube. So now that we know He's given us instruction, check out these following verses, right? In 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 12, it says again, "Waiting for and hasting to the presence of the day of God, by which the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements of burning heat shall melt. And for new heavens and a new earth, according to His promise, we do wait, in which righteousness does dwell." So again, we see the reaffirmation that we should be waiting and hasting for that day. Remember, God instructed us through Daniel to wait earnestly to come to the 1335th day. That means we have to count the days. We have to know. We have to be wise, aware, ready, and watching. Okay? So waiting for and hasting for the arrival of that day. Next, let's go over to Zephaniah 3. It says here in verse 5, where is it? Oh no, did I lose my place? Let me go back and find this one. Verse 3, 8, sorry. Okay, so I scrolled up. He says in verse 8, "Therefore wait for me." Again, God's giving us instruction. He says, "Therefore wait for me," an affirmation of God, "for the day of my rising for prey. For my judgment is to gather nations, to assemble kingdoms, to pour out on them mine indignation and all the heat of my anger. For by the fire of my jealousy consumed is all the earth." Okay, the exact same thing Peter's talking about. God says again here, "Wait for me." So this is another instruction. This one is from God. Okay, therefore wait for me. How long should we wait, O God? Well, God told us 1335 years from that point. Now, finally, the greatest verse here for this video in Isaiah 25. Okay, let me just make sure I got the right verse. We're going to read from verse 8. "He has swallowed up death and victory." Again, it's talking all about the same stuff. When this earth is put to an end, there's the new earth where death has been abolished and all of that. Same topic each time. Okay, and again, we see the same instruction repeated. It says, he has swallowed up death in victory, and wiped has the Lord God the tear from all faces, and the reproach of his people he turned aside from off all the earth, for God has spoken. And one has said in that day, lo, this is our God. We waited for him, and he saveth us. This is God. We have waited for him. We joy and rejoice in his salvation. So what did it say there? It said waited twice. We waited for him. We have waited for him. We joy and rejoice in his salvation. So it's quite clear that we are to wait. Okay, again, I'm just going to read all of them very quickly all together. Oh, the blessedness of him who is waiting earnestly, and then waiting for and hasting to the presence of the day of God. And then, therefore, wait for me. And then finally, Isaiah 25, we have waited for him, for his salvation. Okay, folks, so it goes without question that God has commanded us and instructed us to not just wait this time period, but to count it out and to be aware of when the arrival will be. It will be in this year, according to the Bible. Okay, folks, so it's a very powerful message. This is how I know I'm correct. God has instructed us to count, and he gave us the numbers to count. So we got to do our duty as diligent children, pay attention to what God told us to do, and count. This is the year. We should expect his arrival this year. We have to be ready, most importantly. Okay, so God bless you all. Take care.